Day crushed, man.
Day annihilated. Day
It's
crushed.
been a great week of training. Everyone here knows, and my family knows back home, but today's my 51st birthday, and people are like, you got anything planned? I'm like, hell yeah, I got something planned, man. I'm gonna be up in Virginia Beach with my brothers and now sisters, training and going through mindset programming and resetting everything, and can't think of a better place or a happier place I could be for my birthday. So thank you for allowing me to celebrate that and celebrating that with me, with all our brothers and sisters here this week.
Yeah, it was just meaningful and purposeful, but just to do the honor workout.
Oh man, it was awesome.
It's your birthday. We had another friend here. It was his birthday. Yeah. So it was just an awesome day to be able to get together, crush some training. I'm kind of like, I think for everybody that watches this, it's more like, what did you do today? What did you do yesterday? Like if you had to bullet point it.
Oh,
right?
man.
Like, hey, you came out here. It's your birthday. First of all, awesome that you traveled here. What would you bullet point out of what you got out of this week, and how would that translate?
Wow, so much. And we just got done. If you can't tell, I'm all sweaty and, still panting a little bit. I mean, we literally just got done like 10 minutes ago, so I'm still panting a little bit, running through some close quarter battle with some night vision, and which was awesome. Hadn't done that in a few sessions that we've been up here, but we did so much. We brought on some new people to the elite program this week, and some of that was connected through my company and stuff, which is awesome to expand that brotherhood and, like I said, now sisterhood. I had a couple of great, kick-ass ladies join us this week that did a great job, and it's great to see new people come into the program and learn and escalate and just get better. But from my perspective, gosh, we've done so much. We went back to the basics, yesterday, things that I learned the first time I came out here roughly 4 years ago, and then you were able to take me and another senior student away and do some more advanced stuff. So it was a great mix for me. But the thing about training up here for me is, we talk about this a lot, and I try my best, and I'm pretty good at it, is I go through mindset programming virtually every morning, at least for 15 or 20 minutes, kind of my morning routine, as I know you've got a similar routine, a little bit different here and there. But every month or every other month that I know I'm coming up here, it's a bigger deal. I have to dig a lot deeper with that mindset programming, because I don't get to do this every single day. I do it more than 98% of the people out there, but I don't get to do it at this level. So I really have to spend some time, like a day or two before I come out here, and then the plane ride out here when I come, to really dig deep and reset my mind. Because what I want to do when I get out here is get better every single time. And mindset plays such an important role there. I mean, we had a little conversation today. You pulled me to the side and said, hey, where's Bobby at? It's like, hey, I was making some things I used to not have trouble with. I started having some trouble with. I didn't have my mind exactly right. And because we hold each other accountable, you called me out on it. Yeah. And to have that accountability partner at the level that we're training means everything to me. And not only does that help me as a person coming out here training and getting better training with you instructing me, I'm able to take that training, and the fact that we learned what you teach us is to become so adaptable in our circumstances. Because we got the 16 principles, right? You go through them, we know what they are, but every situation is going to be a little bit different. You're going to have to adapt to that situation. And, learning what we learn up here, I can take that back home and apply that to my family dynamics. Yep. Being a better father, being a better leader at RFG, leading my team, leading my partners and the people around me. So, man, where else would I be on my 51st birthday? I get all that. And it's just been an amazing experience.
Yeah, and that's what fires me up, is that there's people out there like you, and that's what keeps me motivated, is that you care about that type of improvement. Because it's so easy. We talk about complacency all the time, and we learn a little bit of firearms training, or we go to a leadership course, and we can kind of rest on our laurels and be like, okay,
that's the easy thing to do.
I've got business down, I've got this down, I've got my team down, but what are you doing to expand and grow and force yourself to become uncomfortable is that we just know, right? Once you become successful or you grow in an area that you were working on, you know that it doesn't happen without pain, stretching, and growth and adversity. And that's what you're exposing yourself here. And to watch you guys leave fired up, knowing that you're like, the fact that you just said that you're doing mindset programming before you even get here says a lot to me, because you know you're getting ready to shift.
Yeah.
You're getting ready to shift mentally into something else that is going to expose you to something that you're not used to. You're used to it, but you're not.
Yep.
Because I'm going to constantly challenge anybody that we work with. It's a progression. It's a journey. I was just working with some newer members of the team, and I was saying, hey, look, we're going to start fundamentally at some basic level things that are going to help you layer. This is all going to go down to a progression, because even in a life-threatening situation or a really challenging decision, I don't want you thinking about basic mechanics that you should have dialed in, so you can put your mind into the circumstance at hand. You can put your mind into the scenario. Hey, what's the nuances going on with my emotional intelligence? What's the nuance going on with decision? What's that person doing? If I have myself squared away, and especially in a life-threatening scenario, right, it all comes raw and exposed in those moments, is that it does apply. We talk about being a better father, right? You're taking these principles and going back to say, okay, I know that because we applied principles, I can do that with my family, and they're going to be better off for it. I'm going to make better decisions. If the dynamic that we stretch ourselves to, it exposes parts of our character that doesn't necessarily get exposed in the regular world. We can become comfortable. People don't challenge us on it. That accountability piece is huge, because accountability goes both ways here. I mean, we've got an awesome thing going on here where I expect to be held accountable for the people that I train with, and I expect to hold them accountable as well. So it's just that give and that take, and I think that's what we get out of here. But it's a growing team, great training with all the people that showed up here today, and especially the fact that we just turned everything into a positive note, leaving on a solid rep. Everybody that I worked with was like, that wasn't right, let me get a good rep in.
Yeah.
That was a key thing for this week. Even the new guys were like, nope, I didn't do that right, let me rep it out again, because everything we do matters.
Yeah.
And you know that, and you know that it applies to your business, you know that it applies to your team life, your family life. We take that so seriously. Everything that we do matters. Every step, every movement, every turn of my body, every thought going through my head, and we just want to expose that in this element. On the mats, in the shoot house, doing manipulation, in the gym, in the honor workout this morning, everything matters.
Absolutely. You pointed out the new people that joined. I was so impressed, because it's so important to surround yourself by the right people. And the guys that this was their first time, they were calling themselves out. That doesn't always happen the first round, especially.
Man.
I mean, first of all, you're signing up for something where you're going to go get your ass kicked for a while to learn it. Not physically sit down and just beat to death, but I mean, it's physical. It's physical. It's more mental than it is physical. And to watch those folks learn from you and the other instructors this week, and me as well, obviously. I think I learned more watching them than I do doing anything else. But for them to call themselves out is a testament of the people that you allow in the program.
Yeah. We talk about accountability and how easy it is to get to the point, especially in the culture we're living in, where you can kind of live in your own bubble, do your own thing, right? Nobody's bothering you. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. So they're not going to challenge you, because you're going to challenge them. And it's so easy to kind of live that lifestyle. So to see people come into the building, and again, we select people based off of character.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to caring. And I love working with people that care. So to see somebody that's newer to the team and then call themselves out and be like, you know what? I could have showed up for that workout today. And I could have stepped up to do that. And I know I made an excuse. And then come in here and actually do the workout because they carried that with them. And that's how it should be. We should care that much. We're like, you know what, I gotta correct it. And nobody is gonna hear your thoughts louder than you are. Yeah. And so to hold yourself accountable to that, I think that's what we expose here, but we make it okay to allow us to expose it to each other, to say, you know what, no doubt, I could have been a better instructor today. There's things I could have improved on for you, for the team. Where wasn't I efficient? Where could I have been more clear on my points, right? Even in the beginning of yesterday, like I had some points trying to get out, and sometimes I think faster than I can talk. And I was like, all right, let me clear up what I'm saying so I'm very concise, right? Because I want to move so fast because you're ahead of the power curve with a lot of these things. I'm trying to challenge you. Every time you come here, does it get any easier?
No.
But you've been training for a while.
Yeah.
And so I have the balance of, that's why it's amazing.
Well, you consistently take it to another level. I get better.
Layers.
And then when I come up here, I'm like, oh, I've got this. And then you add another layer to it. And I'm like, oh,
That's why it's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey.
This success or becoming better at our goals is always a journey. It's never a destination.
That's right.
You're not going to get there, right? Like the path to perfection of anything else that we do is a journey. Accepting that is a huge part of getting better and the progress and that self-awareness. But I just thought it was really cool because we have some world-class instructors that we're working with. We've got guys that I used to train with, guys that I used to serve with, guys that are in the Armor Up program, assets in the Armor Up program, which is pretty cool. And so the diversity now with what we're growing here, and we don't advertise this. Again, people could watch this and maybe inquire about it, but at the end of the day, we want to select people not from a mass perspective. We want to select people based off of character and actually caring about what they're doing. And it shows with everybody. That's why having somebody Roger up to like, you know what, I should have done that workout. You know what, I should have done that rep better is a big deal. It shows what we're building here.
Yeah, it's a testament to the people you surround yourself with and allow to be in your circle. And it's the same thing with everything you've got going on with the Elite program, Armor Up, and everything is the team you built around you. And again, it's so important to have tier 1 operators and instructors for this type of training. It's essential. But it's the same thing in building any other business. You talk about liabilities, independence, and assets. And the business in just the standard business world, we talk about C players, which no one wants those in business. You talk about B players, then you talk about A players. And I relate, liabilities, independent assets to the C, B, and A players. And that's what we talk about at RFG all the time. We've done a very good job, and God has blessed us and have an unbelievable team of A players, as I've started calling assets. Yep. I'm trying to change that terminology a little bit. It's starting to take root.
That's good.
Yeah, starting to take root a little bit. But it's just, if you don't have the right team around you and the right people around you, when you've got you've got that journey ahead of you, you're not going to accomplish all the things you want to accomplish in this lifetime. You're just not.
Nope. The thing about an asset is understanding that, first of all, that's the journey here, is to become an asset, right? To ourselves, to our family, to our business, to our team. And I just had something popping in my head when you were talking about an asset, because I know that you've talked about how much what we do together helps you as a leader, helps you in your business, helps you as a mentality. Like even talking about calling them assets, identifying that, is that an asset is irreplaceable. When I think of somebody that's an asset, you're irreplaceable. Like your willingness to fight, your will to fight that you have inside of you as a person, as a man, as a character, as a being, like I know that part of you is irreplaceable, right? It just doesn't happen every day. You don't meet people that are willing to go to the extent no matter what. Like I said, what did I say last night? I think I don't know if I've ever trained or served with anybody else that's injured themselves as much, as many times, as many reps as you have. But it's your dedication to fighting through that and working through that allows you to be here. And you're better because of it. You're healthy. You're sitting here. You did some of the best reps you've had today. I challenge you on other layers, right? And I think if people don't get used to that pathway, trying to become an asset, you can get discouraged because you're like, man, shouldn't I feel really good about where I am today? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't you have ended being like, man, I'm on cloud 9 because I did it perfectly? Well, not if you keep growing. Yeah. If you want to continue to grow, you have to face the fact that you're going to feel like you were. And at the end of the day, when I went to raise my hand to go to a voluntary command, when I left my the regular teams and I was like, hey, I want to go over to Dev Group. When I did that, I knew that I had to be willing to be the new guy again. I got to be willing to take the trash out. I got to be willing to reset. Yep. I went from being at the top of my game, clearing rooms and having respect and having a job and having some time on target, and you're giving all that up to improve. So when you want to make that next step, when you want to climb the mountain, you've got to be willing to go through the adversity and basically give up everything. Yep. And you have to be willing to do that. And I have that mindset with everything now because you don't know what's around the corner. I have to be willing to humble myself to the point where I'm willing to reset to see what's over there. And we get so comfortable in our lives that people aren't willing to do that. Yeah. And you're willing to come here. And that's what I love about the people that we select is that that just because you show up here again doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to be at the top. You're going to get reset because you're layering these things around this journey. And I just think that's beautiful when you're able to understand that. And I've just seen that in you, which is why I know it translates to your business, your mindset, and just the growth that you see as a person, as a character.
Yeah, I mean, this, it's one thing you've taught me in the 4 years, almost 5 years we've known each other, 4 years we've been training together, is, get better. If you're not getting better, you're going backwards.
Yeah, you are.
We talked about it on a podcast we did a few months ago. We spent a lot of time talking about strive to get 1% better every single day. And that's hard. It's a simple concept.
It is hard.
But it's very, very hard. But try to become a better version of yourself in every aspect of your life that's important to you. Better father, better leader, better warrior for Christ.
Amen.
Just try to get better. If you're not getting better in some important aspect in your life every day, you better be careful.
Yeah. Well,
and you taught me that. And
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I just think that progression is so important because we get stagnant. And there's nothing more powerful than being around other people that keep you accountable. And power of five.
Yep.
We talk about the power of five all the time. So who you're with, who you work with, like assessing that. Mm-hmm. Are people keeping you stagnant or are they pushing you? That's why this group, when we get together like this, like it's flames going on. There's passion here because everybody shows up because they want to be here. Essentially, it's a voluntary program. You could leave anytime you want. Yeah. You can walk out right now, right? And that's the beautiful thing about being there. There's nothing holding you back from walking out this door, except you and yourself to be accountable, and me, because I'll call you up and be like, "Come on, Bobby, you're better than that," right? But I know that wouldn't happen with you. And the people that show up here, it's just it's meaningful. And I think more people need to push themselves like that. Especially now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In this day and age, business moves so fast. I mean, things are moving so fast. We've got still a lot of variables as it relates to us just coming out of a pandemic, and regardless of what your thoughts are about that, I'm not even going to go down that road. But people look at things a little differently. We're working our day-to-day work life looks a little different, or a lot different for a lot of businesses and stuff like that. And I mean, you again, it goes back to what I said earlier. What I've learned up here at this training is the ability to adapt, and I've been able to translate that over into my business. That's one thing that I will take credit on. I have a hard time taking credit on things, but I will take credit on that. We've done a very good job of being able to adapt, and it's so important to go through for me, it is so important to go through this type of training and to be pushed every single rep. It's not every single day, it's every single rep, because I've got to get better. I've got to be able to adapt. I've got to be able to think through. I've got to shrink that OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, every single time the best that I can. Do I do it right every time? No. And sometimes I do it right for that day, but the next day it's not good enough. Well, you've got to have that same mentality, in my opinion, and if you have a growing business, a growing enterprise, you have to be able to do the same thing with your business. How you deal with your partners, how do you deal with your investors, how do you deal with your employees, how do you deal with your vendors, your outside partners, whatever. All the training that I've been able to experience up here that challenges me every single rep is so important as it relates to how I've grown our company and expanded our company in a relatively short period of time, especially under the circumstances that we're under right now as far as how everything has changed around us over the past 14, 15 months. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it.
Get over it. Show up.
Plateauing it's a facade. It's if you feel like you're plateauing, then essentially what you're doing is you're allowing excuses to keep you from finding something else that challenges you. Because as soon as I feel a plateau, well, I'm not looking at enough of a spectrum. I'm not going outside of that. A plateau should trigger me to find something else that's going to challenge me. And the way that this world works and how dynamic everything is, you can walk outside of your door and find something to challenge you. Yeah. You can kick your own ass in a 5x5 square in your living room to challenge yourself. Like plateaus are a facade. They're not real. If you talk about a strength plateau, if I'm doing bench every day and all of a sudden I hit a plateau and I can't lift any more than 250 and I'm just repping those things out and I can't seem to get there, I need to go outside of my dynamic. I need to find, this is my goal. I'm trying to get to 275. So straight bench isn't working. Let me try flies. Let me try explosive push-ups. Let me try single arm. Let me try isolation. Let me try punching. Let me try doing all kinds of things outside of the single lane, and then I open up the dynamic and I challenge other things. At least I'll find out more about myself in those other dynamics. And then that's just, you apply that principle to everything else that you have going on. Trying to be better at math. Well, have you gotten better at reading? Have you tried a different type of math? You know, you're gonna stretch your brain in a different way. So plateaus are only a facade. It's only an excuse to say I'm plateauing and not go seek something else. So I think that that's what I would say, is challenge yourself to become uncomfortable. The idea of living a life that's principle-based, morals, principles, values, is that those, I'm so convicted of what those are in my life because they're tried and true and I've used them in so many different ways, is that in order for me to challenge myself and go outside of that, it becomes about adaptation, because no one circumstance is the same. No particular space and time is the same every time we walk into it. Like right now, we've never been here before. So I have to expect myself to change and adapt to that with those principles constantly evolving and learning. And then if I hit a plateau, I need to say, where else can I find a way to make myself uncomfortable? And then I need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So to sum that idea up and to really focus on that, people will say, hey, how do I get ready to go to Buds? I'm like, be prepared to be uncomfortable. You should actually challenge yourself to love being uncomfortable. And I'm at the point now where when I'm in an honor workout, I'm like, I love being here. I love being to the point where I can't breathe. I feel like I don't want to go to the next rep. I turn it around and say, I can't wait to get to the next rep. I love being here. This is who I am. I'm a guy that shows up to my honor workout every week and I'll never miss it.
What's your why?
What's your why?
What's your why?
Yep, everything comes back down to that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I add to that is, you know, one of our instructors here, we share a birthday. We didn't know that until today. We've known each other for a few months now. He just started working with you not too long ago. And this morning, someone said, wish me a happy birthday. And he said, thank you. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I turned 50 today. I'm like, I turned 51 today. And we were talking at the break, and he's like, man, you should have came and worked out with me this morning. And I'm like, man, I did an honor workout this morning. But this guy did, and he showed me the video. I've got proof. He came here at like 4:30 this morning before we got here, and for his 50th birthday, did 500 pounds deadlifts 50 times. Yep. And I'm like watching the video. Now he's a big dude.
550.
Man. Yeah.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. He is strong. He is a beast. And but man, that inspired me. I'm like, why is he doing that? Because he wants to get better.
Yep.
He wants to get better. He and I are a little older than everyone else around here, and he's rubbing it in my nose that I'm actually a year older than him now, which is awesome. But I'm watching the video. I'm like, man, that is unbelievable. Now, is my next goal next year to do 500 pounds at 180 pounds, 50 times? I don't know, maybe. But I'm like, man, you're doing that because you want to get better. There's no reason for him to do that except he wants to get better. That's the mindset that he has.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to, you plateauing. There's no excuse. You're the excuse.
Yeah. To find things that challenge you that way, especially as we get older, the dynamics might change. Our mindset evolves, we gain more wisdom, but we know that stagnation is the last place we want to be.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks being stagnant, and I need to find things like, what can I expose myself to make sure that I don't get stagnant, right? Like, what is it? I definitely need to stay in the gym, definitely need to eat healthy, need to hang around with you, right? We grab dinner, you're like, I'm not eating that. It's got sugar in it, right? So I'm like, dang, Bobby's got a point here. I'm not having any. I didn't take a bite of that last night.
I actually took, because it was my birthday celebration, I actually took 2 bites. That's the first time that I have eaten sweets in probably over a year. And I'm a no sugar guy. I have been for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's just rare occasions that I'll even eat a bite of sugar or drink anything. But when I do, it's not a lot. But yeah, you're right. I ate a couple of bites of sugar last night, and you didn't.
Did.
So hey, I'm rubbing off, man. That's awesome.
Well, it's surrounding yourself with people that push you to that level. Like, how can we get better, and why should we be getting better? Because life is short, and we got to continue to find the edge. Especially if you want to up your game and you want to level up and you want to be better at anything you do. You need to find that edge, put yourself into those situations, and just challenge yourself. Like, if you're not challenging yourself, you're wrong.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Agreed. Well, dude, it's been a great week of training,
Yeah,
as always. Love
Always
you. Can't
is.
thank you enough.
Always
It's been a
is.
great way to celebrate my birthday, and love you, dude.
Yeah, love you too, brother. It's an honor, man. It's an honor having you out here. And again, you know, what I said last night at your birthday, you know, it rings true because you do embody the person that has the will to fight. And you're willing to show up again and again and again, regardless of the circumstances. And you want to improve. And when you're around that type of personality, you know, I've learned a lot of things from you. So it's like, who can we surround ourselves with that are going to continue to add to that? And we got a great team here. It was a great couple of days of training. And here we are, 2021. It's May. I feel like I'm just getting started. You feel like you're just getting
Absolutely.
started. And it's like, this is the mindset that keeps that mind going about we are just getting started. So
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing everything else you're capable of and what you continue to crush with RFG and your company. Like, I love talking to your team, Gibson, crushing everything. Everybody that came together. What was cool also in this trip is that our teams got together. Our teams collaborated and tried to figure out how they could help. So now we're creating synergy and force multiplication.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was just a great event, but nice work, man. Great reps this week.
Crush everything, bud.
Crush everything.
All right.
Are you enjoying this content? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us at RFG Advisory on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.